Welcome back to The Fever, everybody. With the end of the season now here, it's time to hand out some end of the season awards. And George, it starts with that Offensive Player of the Year, a big player coming from the Coronado Mustangs.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't give the Player of the Year award to a guy that finished on a team that didn't make the playoffs. But there's just no ignoring what Shaney Wilkinson did for the Coronado Mustangs this year in catching the ball. Not only just catching the ball, but I mean, we talk about YAC, yards after catch, and what Shaney did was just outstanding. Over 100 catches, a school record, 106 catches, over 1,400 yards, 18 touchdowns, just an amazing deal, what Shaney was able to do. Most people, we've had this debate with Graham Harrell and Mike Crabtree. Well, you wouldn't have the yards if I didn't throw you the ball. Well, all that kind of stuff. But what Shaney did was just outstanding. Coming from his junior year where he barely caught, just maybe a dozen balls for 100 yards, and be able to be, the most dominant receiver in District 2-5A this year was just outstanding.
Maybe Wilkinson like to make an argument to Coach Leach. He can maybe join that squad next year.
He might be able to.
Defensively, a big player from Cooper, of course, helping the Pirates in that season strong in District 1-3A. George, who's that guy?
Yeah, that's got to be Jordan Flowers from Lubbock Cooper, and just an outstanding defensive presence there at linebacker. 90 tackles, a sack, 27 solo tackles, a lot of quarterback, a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but he may have had the game-changing play of the year in that game against Estacado. The interception down on the goal line late in the game that preserved the win for Cooper, and really kind of seemed to change the fortunes there for both Cooper and for Estacado, because at that point both teams were 2-0, and both teams looked like they're heading to the playoffs. It's just a matter, we didn't know that was going to be for the district championship when the season started, but a big interception for Flowers. But not just that, the fact that he was all over everywhere, and talking to coaches, when you talk about, opposing coaches, when you talk about Cooper, one of the first players they mention is Jordan Flowers, and knowing where he is on the field at all times. Just an outstanding job there leading that Cooper defense this year.
And Friendship, of course, going to 10-0 in District 4-4A. A big part of that was a guy from California who transferred in. Brian Sykes makes a huge difference for the Tigers this year.
Yeah, when you talk about newcomer, I mean, you can't get more newcomer than Brian Sykes, a kid that moves from California. California football is decent, but like he said earlier in the season, it's nothing like it is down here in Texas. And just an outstanding job. And he really, what he did was fill a huge question mark there for the Tigers. They had Michael Connor last year for 3 years, lost him to graduation. The big deal was who was going to run the football for Friendship. Well, in comes this little 5'8", 5'9" kid out of California. Just does an outstanding job. Over 700 yards, about 9 touchdowns for the Tigers, and really stabilized that running game and made them much more balanced than I think maybe they thought they might be. When they had the offseason last year. Brian Sykes, a great job coming in and really fitting in there at Friendship this year.
And, of course, Brian Sykes making a big impact on that Friendship team and a big influence on his coach, Brad Davis, who's our Coach of the Year. And, George, I mean, what a job he's done with the amount of guys he lost and having to bring some guys in to fill those gaps.
Yeah, I've said it before. I don't know any other way to say it. It's just an outstanding, amazing job what Brad Davis and the Friendship Tiger football staff have done there this year. And we've said it before, lost all 11 starters on defense, 7 or 8 of their backups. And they come back. That defensive unit is probably better than it has been in years past. And even he said so this last week. He said this may be the best defensive unit we've had here in a long time, talking about that Friendship Tiger defense. But also Brad is an offensive guy, and what he does with that offense is simply amazing. He has a new quarterback, new running back, new core receivers. He did have the offensive line to build around, which I'm sure he loved. But he's made that team more balanced than it was last year. Just throwing the ball and running the ball. So yeah, I think it's an obvious choice. Going 10-0, only the 3rd time in school history they've gone 10-0 in a regular season. Just a great job by Friendship and Coach Brad Davis. Congratulations.
All right, by-district playoffs starting this week, and when we come back, George will give you his picks for that first round right here on The Fever.